Welcome to Ln space where sigma dx over dt applies when t equals 1 equals 0. Where energy is infinite, limitless in flux yet remains the same trans-dimensional, constant and abundant. We summarize this as Brill, behold, the light.
So next in our Jukebox series is I'm using a Crosley CR-11. These ones, and this is an early one, does it have a date on it? I think it says November 90. So it's an earlier one. The back panel isn't cardboard, it's wood. The top is wood, but the wood was quite thin, and sometimes they get split up here on the bend. So that'll, I have to crazy glue that down. And the other thing, of course, it's a tape model. It takes the tape, and this one sounds muddy, and when I turn it on, yeah, it sounds like it's had better days. The radio works. Okay, and the lighting, as you see, but that one's out, and I think there's some upper ones on this, and there might be one in the back here. These ones here down at the bottom, they're out, and so I've got to go in now and clean the tape deck and maybe replace the belts on it. And there's a light that has to go on in there actually, and well, I'll find out in a minute how that light goes on. Might as well leave that off. Right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to tear this down and we'll have a look inside. At this point I've extracted both belts from the tape deck, and as you can see, this tape deck is very similar to the Crosley tape deck used in the CR-10 jukebox. In fact, it really is the same unit. But here are the belts, and one thing that was happening was when I had a tape that wasn't in the best condition, then the player wouldn't even attempt to play the tape because the belts were slipping. And this is just that they've gotten old. They're still there, but they're not quite the same as new belts. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to match these up now with my new belts, and slightly undersized, but still to the same dimension of when I stretch the belt, for instance, around here to the center of the motor shaft will be the right length of belt for this. And for this one, I'll find a belt just a tad smaller, you know, accounting for wear over the years, so that when this tape deck runs again, it won't slip. So these are the new belts right here that I've selected, and these are the old belts. These old belts, though they look okay, the rubber is old, and on their inner surface there's been a lot of wear, and so now I'll install the new belts. Okay, so now the belts are all replaced, and we'll just give it a test. There we go. Everything seems to be running nicely. Now, while I have it apart like this, I'm going to clean the tape head right here and the pinch roller. Get those nice and clean, and then we'll try running a tape to test its operation. So, the thing is that there are solutions that you can get that go with these cassettes that don't have a tape. They have like a fiberglass material in here, and you would put this solution on that fiberglass material, and then it would run through the deck and clean things, and they work when this thing is all together and you can't get to those places. But since we've got it all down, of course, rubbing alcohol and a couple of Q-tips will be all that I need to get this thing nice and clean. And so this is the dirty Q-tip that basically all that stuff came off both the magnetic head, electronic head, and the pinch roller. And all of that stuff, well, that's tape dirt, residue, and it doesn't aid in the functioning of the cassette deck. Okay, so after a little bit of fun and one of these little wires becoming detached, and I had to solder it back on, let's test it now and just see that it functions okay. There we go. Okay, and that was from B-52's tape that I used with the B-52s just to test it. So now we know that the tape deck functions okay. Now let's do the lights. To get these panels off on the front, there's a screw here, two screws up top, and then 2 more screws on the other side. Of course, the tape deck can't be in the way, so that you can get these screws here. All the fun, huh? So we're going to get these screws loosened off, and then we're going to get into it. Okay, well, these bulbs in this are driven by these little circuit boards, as you can see all around here. And these little circuit boards drive these little 5.2 volt bulbs. They're sort of like the ones that I dealt with on the CR-10, but they're much lower voltage. How the circuits work is a little bit Christmas tree-like. If one bulb goes out, which I have discovered on this circuit here, there is a dead wire. So basically, this is the bulb that died. One goes out, the other one goes out. So when we were looking at the front of the machine, the 2 bulbs that were out were this one and that one. This bulb is good, that bulb is bad. Now I'm going to show you how they actually wired this stuff. Here's a simple little diagram, and this is the silvered part of the circuit board, silvered here and silvered here. They have the power coming in to either side. Then they run power to a bulb, and then over here where it joins to the other leg of the other bulb, and then over here to this side. So what happens is if you have one bulb go out, it effectively breaks the circuit and both bulbs have gone out. Now, to determine the power on the bulbs, how the circuits are made is that as you can see, one then the other, it's a voltage divider. So it steps down the voltage. And because you have 2 circuits doing this, then they're in parallel, and both circuits become, once the voltage is divided, then the current is divided. So what that means is that I have about 11 volts in the circuit, and the bulb that I need, this one here, that is a 5.2 volt bulb, and to get the same wattage, once the current is divided and everything, this is the replacement bulb. So when I replace this one bulb in the circuit down here, both the lamps should light up. So here we have our old friend, the 9.8 bulb, and you can see it's sort of gone black. It's blown. It's the bulb that lights up the little showcase. So I'm going to replace that bulb now, put it back in, and that should be that fixed. Okay, so I've just installed the new bulb. It's right here, and here we go. Let's see it. There we go. Okay. Now I'll put the view window back together. And so I put the new bulb in there, and I've also repaired the cabinet. And just before I do anything more, I'll just put a little bit of English wood oil on this lovely little wooden cabinet. As normal, these never get sort of polished up like this, and so they always look sort of a little dry, and you know, but a little bit of love every now and again, and these things really shine up and they really look good. You know, you can say, well, it's a toy, or I've heard, you know, other people say other things, you know, but at the end of the day, these are the ones. If you don't want to pay $3,000 and upwards on one of these jukeboxes, you know, then this is what everybody can afford. Now I'll show you. Let's turn the lights on. There we go. Let's listen to the tape. And the tape is in there, and the tape is the B-52s. Isn't that cool? That is cool. And there we go. And there's the radio.
The products they were using, and everyone was really easy to deal with, very responsive.
Okay. And that's how you repair, restore a Crosley CR-11. Now the CR-11s, the early ones like this, I should point out, were tape machines. The later ones, this is going to be circular here, and it would open up, hinge to the side here, and you put a CD in there. So this is an earlier one from the tape era, and it's a really cool little jukebox. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video, and this is number 2 in the series. Stay tuned for number 3. I have another jukebox, a different type altogether, and I'll see you then.